thank you for tuning in to this video. So I'm guessing that anybody that's watching this type of video either has a vitamin D deficiency or has somebody maybe close to them, like a child or a young adult that they look after, that possibly has a vitamin D deficiency themselves. First things first, vitamin D deficiency isn't nice. It's a horrible, horrible thing to have to go through and have to deal with. And until somebody actually has it, they may never understand how hard it is to sort of deal with the symptoms that come along with vitamin D deficiency. I did do a video, so for anybody that doesn't know, seeing this video for the first time, I have done a previous video on my story. In that video I talked about my symptoms, diagnosis, and I think I recorded it 1 month in to taking the supplements. I was taking 10,000 units every day for 3 months. So you can go check that video out because it might help you understand a bit more about what I'm going to talk about here. Because everything I say here, I'm not a doctor, but everything that I say or the advice I give is based on my own experience, my own research and stuff like that. So I'm just going to basically run over quite quickly what happened after that video, and then I'm just going to talk a little bit maybe about the symptoms and things that you should look out for, and just a bit of advice and things that I did to help get over vitamin D deficiency. A lot of what I'm going to talk about is going to be linked with anxiety that I was suffering during the time, and I will tie that in so you hear me talk about it in a minute. So let's get down to it. After that video I did, things went downhill, so it was not a good time for me at all. I mean, during that video you see I was quite chirpy, I was quite optimistic. I tried to give as much hope for people, and I'm not here to dampen anybody's spirits, but one thing that people have to understand is that it's a very individual journey. Our bodies are different, and when you have a deficiency and you're taking supplements, your body's going to react differently. For some people, recovery may be quicker, and for other people, it may take longer. It's not anything that's specific, it's sort of the way the body is. On a whole, they usually say that it takes about 6 to 12 months to recover from vitamin D deficiency, and I was on obviously 3 months of supplements, but for your body to sort of get back to like normal from after taking the supplements. So yeah, after that video, things were up and down with me. Now, there was a lot of factors that contributed to that. That goes beyond the vitamin D deficiency, which I will explain. I had good days and I had bad days. I think the most consistent symptom for me was definitely the legs, the leg pain, the muscle pain. They never seemed to go for quite a while. I would get just aches, and it's horrible. Aches and pains and muscle weakness and that kind of thing. And during that time as well, I think brain fog, sort of the cognitive aspects of it, was quite difficult to get over and get used to, because it comes unexpectedly. You just feel a bit dizzy and a bit lightheaded and just a bit disjointed. And I just love it that when I looked at the other comments, people sort of could relate to me, because they were saying that they also suffer from brain fog. And it's such a hard thing to describe, but it's just almost like everything, you're taking everything in, so you know what's going on, but everything's just so much more, it's like it's happening, it's like you're not there. It's so hard to explain, like you're watching it from afar. I don't know, I can't find the words to explain brain fog. When you go through it, and those you probably saying yes, 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 because you know exactly what I'm talking. You sort of feel a bit disjointed from the world, and like you're taking things in very slowly. That's a horrible thing to deal with, because it affects you talking to people, talking to family, friends, work. Oh my gosh, work. People might not understand exactly what you're going through, so it's horrible. So like I said, I had up and down days. I had days that were worse than before, and days that I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm actually overcoming and I'm getting better. So yes, definitely highs and lows with my recovery with vitamin D deficiency. I think after that, if I recall, after sort of the ups and downs, things got worse due to anxiety. I did say in my previous video, so if you haven't watched it, like I said before, you might want to watch it because it will help you understand, that the doctors diagnosed me originally with having anxiety issues, and they gave me antidepressants, which I did not take because I knew that I wasn't anxious, and I knew that there was something wrong with my body, because I think all of us as humans, we all have something within us that tells us something's not quite right. Now, whether we blow it out proportion or not, that's a completely different thing. But we know when there's something wrong. You know when you're not functioning correctly. And it's very important that you hound your doctors, even though sometimes they're not useful, to do the necessary checks, especially if you suspect that you have vitamin D deficiency. So, yeah, what was I saying? So, yeah, during that time, they told me that I might have anxiety issues, and I debated it with them. No. And in that previous video, you would heard me say, it wasn't anxiety, it was the vitamin D deficiency. So this is where it gets, not tricky, but this is where it gets interesting, should I say. It's quite difficult to explain the story, but before I was told I had vitamin D deficiency, I used to Google a lot of my symptoms. So you sort of do that, headache, bone pain, bone weakness, tiredness. Oh, tiredness is horrible. And you sort of try to, see what the internet tells you and diagnose yourself. I had all sorts of things. So I became a master Googler. I'd Google everything and I'd be like, oh, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. And because I kept going to GP, they were saying, there's nothing wrong with you. We've run tests. There's nothing wrong with you. I was like, but I know there's something wrong with me. Like, you can't be telling me. And I was thinking the worst in most of the cases. I was like, oh, am I going to die? Is something going to happen to me? And I'd Google. And when they eventually told me I had vitamin D deficiency, what I feel happened was that because there's specific symptoms that they attach to vitamin D deficiency, and when you're speaking to your doctor, they will tell you this, that are symptoms of vitamin D deficiency, but they never really touch on the cognitive aspects of things or the other symptoms that may arise from just mere panic and mere sort of anxiety issues that you may develop. I said, okay, so you're telling me these 4 symptoms are attached to vitamin D deficiency. Yeah, I'm having numbness, I'm feeling dizzy, I'm having brain fog, and you're telling me that vitamin D doesn't give people that. And the doctor would say, no, it doesn't. So I was panicking, thinking, okay, there might be something that's wrong even more with me. So I'd Google again. Oh, I know I have vitamin D deficiency, but I'm having these symptoms and all sorts will pop up. So I had like severe health anxiety, which I'm going to do a video on separately. So just to touch on the fact that anxiety played a massive part in sort of my illness or my sickness during that time, because I became somebody else. I didn't even want to go out or stay at home by myself. I would follow my mum everywhere. Work, I couldn't work properly. I'd just sleep, stay in my room and Google. I became a serious Googler, Googling symptoms all the time. So that made things worse. So I would say that definitely impacted how I dealt with the vitamin D deficiency, because if I didn't get over that, I felt like my body wasn't going to take things in, because when you're anxious you get a lot of stomach pain and stuff, and I used to get horrible pains in my stomach, which is now I think contributed to me now having IBS, because my stomach is just, since then it's just been horrible. So yeah, that played its part in anxiety, and I don't know if that relates to anybody. There may be some of you that may be wondering you have other symptoms and you may be panicking indirectly about what's going on with you, thinking that it's more than vitamin D deficiency. But what I would say to you is that if you've been to the doctor and the doctor has told you you have vitamin D deficiency, accept it. Accept that you've got vitamin D deficiency. That's if they've done all the necessary checks. So if they've gone for everything and said, okay, we've ruled out all the horrible stuff, you probably have vitamin D deficiency. You probably just have vitamin D deficiency, and your job from then is to educate yourself on vitamin D deficiency, eat the right stuff, try and get into the sun, and do what you sort of can to speed up your recovery from vitamin D deficiency. So yeah, things were quite difficult there. What I did with the anxiety is there were several methods that I had to use after a while, because it was getting to the point that I was going to the hospital almost 5 times a week. And I'm not exaggerating. They knew me there. They'd be like, oh, she's back again. She's had a panic attack. So, because I thought I was going to die at that point in time. So, yeah, I went through all that and I had to deal with the anxiety, and that sort of, I think that aided the recovery of the vitamin D deficiency as well, because I just slowly started to realise that my symptoms were getting better. Certain things I wasn't having anymore. The brain fog slowed down, the muscle ache slowed down, and the tiredness, because that was a big issue, the tiredness went. So yeah, I mean, it takes time, vitamin D deficiency. It takes time, and I think it takes educating yourself as well as to what you have, because it's a shame that it sounds so silly. Maybe vitamin D deficiency, it's like, oh really, you have vitamin D deficiency, but it's not something silly. Being that tired that you feel like, I used to sleep and wake up and feel unrefreshed. Having that kind of muscle pain and the weakness that you get, and just the dampening of your mood in general, it's not nice. And what again annoys me with doctors is they fail to explain the impact that such a deficiency, any kind of deficiency, can have on the body. Because what happens is because you're deficient in one thing, your body starts looking for other ways to sort of, compensate, should I say, for what's lacking, which takes out of other things. That's why some people have low calcium, some people's magnesium's affected, and so on and so forth. I mean, I did, because somebody did talk to me about taking magnesium. I attempted to take magnesium, but it did not have a positive impact on me at all. It was horrible, and I reacted to it, so I didn't take it. But that does not mean that people should not take it. I mean, go ahead if it's something that you can handle, or not even something that you can handle. Try it, and if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't. If it does, it does. But yeah, so understanding doctors fail to explain, should I say, what exactly it is, and maybe just say to you that your symptoms can vary because your body reacts differently. Our body's going through something that's horrible at the time. You're tired, you're weak, which may be contributing to other stuff. Your cognitive, because again, you're deficient in something, so your brain's probably trying to work things out, like what's going on. Just the way, even your immune functioning, so things that I was having like stomach aches, and they were saying it's not related. I know now from having educated myself in it that it definitely can have an impact on it, and obviously with the anxiety does make it worse, but there's so many other things that can impact it as well. So yeah, I mean, vitamin D deficiency is horrible, and all of you that go through it, I do not envy you at all. And that journey for me was long. I think after the 3 months, it took, I would say, another month maybe for me to feel like, oh wow. And it's something that's very slow. You notice a few things maybe when you sit down and realise, oh, I haven't had that in a while. So it's not a swift journey, and that's one thing I have to say. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes time. It takes patience from you. It takes understanding. Like I said, the most important thing for me, I feel, is educating yourself on it, because you will know how to deal with it then. I always say inform people about it, inform your family. Look, I'm going through this, it might sound minute, but this is how it makes me feel. So that people can understand, even if you have to tell work that, look, it's not going to be for long. I'm not going to be sort of out action, but this is what I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to I'm taking supplements. And if you feel like you have vitamin D deficiency and they haven't told you, please hammer your doctor, hammer them and say, do the test. They can test for other stuff, things like MS that are similar, to sort of give similar symptoms. And then if they've ruled out all of that, and then they do your test and find that you're low, get it sorted, because if you leave it for long, the impact isn't good. It's not something that it's a good thing to deal with at all. And I cannot even imagine having gone maybe, having allowed it to get worse than what it did for myself, yet alone for somebody else to go through something similar. So, yeah, educate yourself. It can lead to all sorts of things like heart disease. There's certain cancers that are associated with vitamin D deficiency. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I can understand how that can happen, because your body just becomes out of action during that time. And there's all sorts that you can sort of eat. Things like, if you take cod liver oil, that's been noted to have quite high vitamin D, have a lot of vitamin D inside it. Fish oils, try and get in the sun as well. Mushrooms, I think portobello mushrooms. I love mushrooms anyway. Some of you be like, but I love them, so it was fine for me. And yeah, mindset as well. I think that's one of the biggest things, apart from the education. Mindset. You need to let yourself know that it's going to be okay. You are going, like, I'm a testimony, hello, I'm here, that you can overcome vitamin D deficiency. you can beat it, because it, like I always say, it sounds so minute, but it's not. It's horrible. To think that your life could continue like it does when you're dealing with it is, it's not, it might make you, it possibly makes you feel like it's not worth it. So yeah, the education, the mindset. Get your mind into that place. If you have to write things down and stick it on your wall saying, I am going to be fine, this is only for a while, do that. Do whatever you feel it's going to take you to get out of that. It's not easy said, but I'm here to sort of advise you. That's what I did. I had to start saying, you know what, and coupled with a lot of prayer, you know what, I need to get better. I need to get better, because this can't be my life. So that's what you can sort of do. So yeah, so I mean, overall it was a long journey, but I got there in the end and I'm completely fine. I have no symptoms of vitamin D deficiency. I was taking calcium and vitamin D tablets after I was taking 10,000 units. They were only ones that I bought from the shop, and I stopped taking those. I take multivitamins every now and again. Sometimes I forget, just to help in general. Sometimes I feel a bit. So then, but that, I don't think that's necessarily associated with the vitamin D deficiency, that's just in general. So I'll take some vitamins just to make me feel a bit better. So I haven't had to take anything after that. I've been fine, haven't had to go to my GP. At that time I was going to GP, like I said, so many times a week, but now I don't do that. So yeah, I'm good, I'm fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a few more videos on vitamin D deficiency, because I feel like, I mean, I wish I had been able to watch a video like this when I was going through it, because there was nothing. I was going on forums and not hearing back from anybody. So people would write down their symptoms and what they're going through, and that they're taking supplements, but then you never hear from them again, and you think, am I doomed, am I gloom? So this is why I had to make it my duty to do this video, so that I didn't leave people in the lurch thinking, what happened to her? And yeah, I'm going to do a few more just to help. Anything, I'm going to look at some stuff like the types of foods you should eat, just understanding vitamin D. So those of you that, like I said, want to be educated on it more, I'm going to try and run a little video. I'm not a doctor or scientist, but you know, I've sort of have a bit of knowledge on Vit D. So I will run a video on that. And then I'm going to do some stuff on health anxiety, which I dealt with, which is horrible. And hopefully that helps too. So thank you for watching this video. Please leave comments, because I'm going to do a video on your questions and answers, because some of you left questions and questions for me. So I'm going to do a questions and answers video about vitamin D deficiency next, and I'll post that up ASAP. And I promise I won't leave that 6 months. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I hope and I wish you a speedy recovery for those of you that are dealing with this horrible deficiency. Have a lovely day. Bye.